conversation in just a little bit, not just flying, but what we're going to do with the airports and all of that, just a little bit. But I've got to remind you that if you're at a mall near you is where a Loop shopping festival is taking place. You ask me, what is Loop? Well, it's not just an app, it's a lifestyle. It's helping you to equip you with tools and solutions to live effortlessly. With Loop, you gain access to payment, credit, and saving services while enjoying personalized experiences, deals, and offers tailored to your needs and interests. So this festive season, Loop is your go-to partner for all your shopping needs. The Loop Shopping Festival is coming to various malls, and it's coming to one near you, offering you incredible deals with a wide range of merchants, including Hotpoint, Quickmart, Bata, Tile and Carpet Center, Java, Bountiful, Safaris, Oppo, Linton's, Mook, Simbisa, which is Chicken Inn, Galitos, Creamy Inn, Pizza Inn, Shell, Phone Express, Lifestyle Hub, Samsung, and many more. You get a 10% cash back of up to 5,000 shillings at participating merchants when you spend 2,000 shillings or more using the Loop app. What are you waiting for? Download the Loop app today on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Why wait when you can Loop it? Some of the conversations that we will be having this morning, and one of them is, okay, so after the Adani deal, what next? And our guest for this hour is already seated, and even as we get into it, I want us to say a welcome to engineer Gitae Mwaniki, who is a senior consultant, the Aviation Information Consultants. Good morning, engineer.
Morning.
How are you?
All well.
All well?
All well.
Fantastic. Yes. You know these things, but we want to take you into the skies just a little bit. And CT says, when you fly again, this is how we want you to do it.
There was a comment in social media that we should talk about terms and conditions apply. Yes, they do apply. The terms and conditions for flying, flying in the manner that I am suggesting to you, is that it has to be Emirates business class. Not just Emirates. Emirates Airlines, not Emirates Shopping Center. Emirates Airlines with 140 destinations from JKIA. Now, what the business class offers you is a little more than just the ordinary business class. It's not just a huge, comfortable seat where you can fit in comfortably. And it's not just a seat that reclines so that you can rest in a sitting position. No. This one, you lie down flat. Well, I've gotten ahead of myself. Before you get to lying down flat, you only need to get to the airport. And to get to the airport, Emirates tells you, we will get you there, but we'll get you there in style. The word limousine comes to mind, and that is you in the limousine going to the airport. And then there's a question of perhaps my last meal was breakfast, and it's now 8 o'clock at night. They'll tell you, do not worry. We have regionally inspired cuisine, and you can choose what it is you wish to eat. And a drink. Top drawer. After eating, if you want to rest, you will lie down flat. Now we are back to lying down flat. But it's not just lying down flat. You'll be afforded pajamas, which you can keep. Duvet, which you must leave. And when you wake up, as and when you wake up, you have a choice. Do I work? Do I entertain myself? Do I sit and talk with people? And this is 40,000 feet up in the air. They say all these things are available to you. And when you land at your destination, the same comfort that took you to the airport will take you to wherever it is you are going. And on your way back, you'll be afforded the same immaculate service. That is Emirates Business Class.
Engineer Gitae knows, right?
Yeah, we know.
There you go. See? It's good stuff. So, I mean, how apt a conversation, isn't it, to be having this morning? So, Karibu Sana to the hot seat of the Situation Room. It's a hot topic and one we must look at in terms of, what's been happening in the public arena. And also then what happens to an airport in this part of the region that has always been seen as the hub. And probably still is the hub for a lot of takeoffs and landings, connecting flights, etc., etc. What kind of airport should you have? Political controversy aside. But before we get into that, first of all, a welcome to you. And speaking of flying, CT flies all over the continent every week. every week he lands in a different African country, and he brings back a basket of proverbs. This week we've been in Angola.
Okay.
Right. Don't ask us how we get there, Emirates. But he's going to share the proverb with you. Then let us know what you think about it and how you'd interpret it.
Okay.
Okay.
You cannot do without water, even if it drowned your child. You cannot do without water, even if it drowned your child.
I'll give it very simple. The basic one and the in-depth one. The basic one will be water is an essential need, and it's not a want, it's a need. You need it. However, just like everything, it needs to be used properly so that it works for you. So if you put it in a swimming pool and you are there enjoying, you need to know that it has to be used in the proper way so that safety is not compromised. So you need it, but that very thing that you need it, if used in the wrong way, can give you the wrong results.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. That very thing which you need, if used in the wrong way, can give you the wrong results. Okay. I think we can apply this to almost anything that we speak about, but even very apt to what we're having a conversation about today. The upgrade and the management of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and maybe a few more around the country was taken into... we were in turmoil. There was a whole storm about it. It was politically tinged in one way. But then the question of the actual infrastructure around an airport in Nairobi, in Kenya, which is a hub for the region, then really took the lower end of the conversation. And because of certain things, we then saw that the deal that would see JKIA upgraded and then managed over the next 3 decades then was chalked out. But that did not take away the need for the upgrade of the airport. Whichever way we want to color it, there still looked as though there needed to be an upgrade. So let's start from there.
Yes.
Engineer, looking at the airport and trying as much as possible not to color it politically, is there a need for JKIA as it is right now to be upgraded to any kind of status?
Okay. Again, thank you very much for inviting me. I will kindly request for a minute. We rewind a bit why we are here. Okay? So that will tell you and inform you why we are here. Kenya is a hub and has been a hub for quite some time. And back even before independence, we did our first airport, which was initially a Maram airport and then later upgraded to Embakasi Airport then, 1958. Then that is what worked as Nairobi Airport. So it served us for quite some time. And in the wisdom of the government then, much later in the 70s, we did what is now JKIA. Later renamed JKIA immediately after the former President Jomo Kenyatta died and Moi took over. So that airport had been designed with a very good vision to take us for 20 years. That was the plan, 25 years. Okay. Initially, it was designed with a very good design, with a terminal structure, which is what we refer to as a concave terminal structure, not a standalone. So you maximize on the number of aircraft that can park. It was and is still a single runway airport design. And by then, when it was opened and renamed JKIA, it was designed initially for 2.5 million pax. Okay. Then we had the hub carrier, which was the East African Airways then, later transitioned to Kenya Airways. So it worked, and the design was to work for about 20-25 years. That was the plan.
So from the 1970s,
yes,
it would essentially have worked with that plan, 2.5 million packs, serving the region, and of course externally until 1995.
Plus or minus.
Okay.
Plus or minus.
All right.
During that time, a few improvements were made to the terminal structure and a bit to the aprons, to expand a bit of the apron.
What's an apron?
Oh, let's go slowly.
Not that.
Let's go slowly. What is an airport? Airport is three things. You need the runway. That is what you know. Then you need the taxiway. The taxiway is how the aircraft exits and enters the runway. That's a taxiway. And then you have the aprons. The aprons is a parking area. That's where the aircraft parks. So that is
where you see those guys with the
correct.
The lighting.
Correct.
Okay.
So that is the apron. Then you have the terminal. Okay, that is where now you as a passenger you enter, and if it's a good a terminal, it is well designed. If it is international, they're supposed to be a separate section for departure and arrivals. Okay, that is an international standard. So that is a terminal. Okay, and then the other part is the navigation part, which is the control tower, and now the associated lightings on the apron, the taxiway and the runway. Okay, so that is the airport, and that is what we call that generates aeronautical revenue, meaning it's directly involved in the aircraft operation. Anything outside that is non-aeronautical. Okay, meaning it supports the existing, but as good airport management, you can subcontract that to somebody else. The person managing the airport does not have to manage the others. This you mean the service provision, the hotels, the parking areas, all those. They are not a core function. But when you have those three working effectively, then you have an airport.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So we were at 1995 now.
Yes.
When the original design is supposed to have, operated until
correct
an upgrade was needed.
Correct. Because you design an airport with a certain design capacity, and that you look at your hub carrier and you say this is the traffic that is there. So you design an airport that the maximum capacity of the airport should always be more than what is the actual passenger output. Okay. That's how you do.
All right.
So that you have that fluid, and you always ensure when you arrive at the airport, you don't find nasty queues in the morning. You are well handled. The congestion is not there. That means that's an airport that is working.
Okay.
So and then when you do this, you cannot do it independently. You've got to look at who is the hub carrier in that airport, because the hub carrier drives traffic, and the hub carrier attracts traffic. Okay, so in another day we'll have a conversation of the importance of the hub carrier, which for now is Kenya Airways.
Kenya Airways.
So that you need to understand why you need a hub carrier. You don't want a hub carrier, you need a hub carrier. Okay. So JKIA was working well until around 1997, 1998. Beyond there, we started feeling the pinch. Okay. Because the congestion started coming in. And then a good thing was that KQ was now performing fairly well. The fleet numbers were coming up. Passenger numbers were coming up. Kenya was getting into more and more bilateral service agreements to attract other airlines. So traffic was slowly building up and building up. Our neighbors were not doing so well. Okay, so everyone within the Eastern African region preferred Nairobi. Up to and including the shock on you, there was a time that we had a war in Ethiopia. And Ethiopian Airlines could not continue operating out of Addis then. What did they do?
Come to Nairobi.
They came to Nairobi. And, it was a good thing and it was a bad thing later, but they came to Nairobi. And they cemented the role of Jomo as a hub. And during the same time, KQ was performing. However, now, How are we managing our airports? That is where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Before 1991, we had the Department of Aerodromes, okay, which was later now upgrade. We had two aviation entities. We had the Department of Aerodromes and the Directorate of the Civil Aviation. So the Department of Aerodromes the role was to manage all the aerodromes. An aerodrome means where an aircraft can land.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was its role. Then later it was upgraded by a new law, CAP 395, to create Kenya Airports Authority. Okay. So that was tasked with the job of now managing all the airports. Okay. So that was good till there. But that organization from onset has never been well aligned to manage airports effectively. Why? Even when it was created and then placed in the office of the president, not Ministry of Transport. So it was like, why? But if you look behind,
just rewind it. You just go back.
Yeah.
I had Ministry and Office of the President.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. This thing which was
KIA was created.
Kenya Airports Authority.
Yeah, Kenya Airports Authority
Yes.
was created by an act of parliament,
Okay.
CAP 395, to create KIA and to take over from where the Department of Aerodromes was.
Okay.
Okay. When it was created as an authority, it has a board, and the board is appointed, the chair is appointed by the president, and a few other representatives from other bodies. But the way it was created and placed under the office of the president, that tells you something.
It's not in transport.
Was. I'm telling you the history, where we are coming from.
This is very good. Let's go on. Yes.
So it was placed under the office of the president. Why? This is in the 90s. Why? As you know, airport fees and all that KIA is one of the topmost foreign currency collectors for government. So they view it as a cash collector. Okay. So even from then, the former president used to see it as a source of dollars. Let's call it for what it is.
Okay.
And it was a source of dollars, was it not?
It is a source of dollars till now.
Till today.
So his site was correct.
Yes. So yes, that's it's good to see it that way. But are you feeding that cow that is bringing you the milk? A story for another day.
Okay.
But you can see that subset already has a problem. Let me tell you why it's a problem. One, the Minister of Transport is the one who is overlaying the aviation policy in the country. So when the Minister of Transport cannot oversee the management of the airport, then that's a disconnect.
Yes.
Because anything he has to do, he has to go back to office of the president.
You used the phrase, and I know Dennis has a question, just sorry, but I think it's a really pleasant way of you saying, because you said that the department was not well aligned to manage the airport's priorities. As a nice way of basically saying that it was taken and put in a corner so it could not essentially do its job.
Correct. And it does not serve the interest of the aviation industry in Kenya.
Okay.
Okay. The agenda largely was the hijack of the roles of KIA have been from that time, where it is not the industry needs that take center stage, it is political interests
That takes
center stage. Okay. We don't have a problem with politics, but they should not be number one.
Okay.
They should be number two, number three.
Okay.
Yes.
So in terms of politics taking center stage instead of the industry needs, pretty much, how did these affect the growth and development or the change of JKIA at the point where it was supposed to be changing and developing to be something greater?
Correct. As an organization, please note, JKIA generates about 82 to 83% of KIA's revenue. Okay? And then please note that KIA, even from then, has only 3 airports that actually make money. That is JKIA, that is Wilson Airport, and Moi International Airport, Mombasa. Those are the ones that generate the money. Okay? All these other airports that you see, are not commercially viable. They are there for strategic interest, for health, for regional connectivity, but they don't make money. It's not a problem, but you're not supposed to ensure that the ones that make money get the lion's interest.
How exactly do you ensure that an airport makes money? What is it that makes an airport money?
An airport makes money out of what we refer to as the aeronautical revenue, that is the landing and parking fees by all the aircraft operators, that is the airlines, the charter operators, and all that. So there's a landing fee, there is a parking fee. Then there is the second huge chunk of aeronautical revenue, which is the passenger fees. So each and every departing passenger will pay a certain amount as paid by the operator.
Okay.
Yes. So that's how it works.
Let's answer that. If you could look at this before we go to break. So if JKIA as an entity requires an upgrade, which you've established that it does, that when you introduce a new system, that you're looking at a 25-year period within which it's going to operate, and maybe taking into some more numbers into consideration. So come 1996, 1997, you've already established that an upgrade was required. Now, through an act of parliament, or rather, right, KAA was established. So if anybody, or if anybody would be aware of an upgrade that was necessary to implement and operationalize it, it would be KAA.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Right?
As an executive agency.
Exactly. So, has KAA, since 1996, and we're now in 2024, when now the story of upgrades has been more robust than it ever has been. Before, we have seen, we go through the airport every now and then, we've seen that there have been upgrades. Terminals 1, 2 have been established. There's been a separation between local and international. All of those things have happened right here in this entity. In this one that then now saw that an upgrade would take place and be managed by an external party, where was the inclusion or engagement of KAA in all of this?
Good. 3 things happened before that. Number 1, during the regime of our late President Mwai Kibaki, it was clearly identified that we need to upgrade, and action was taken. That is why the Greenfield Terminal was designed, procured, and eventually launched under Uhuru regime. So if that had come into play, we're talking of a clean sheet new terminal, Terminal 2, which was designed to increase the capacity by about 8 million passengers, over 55 desks, and was supposed to have cost about 55 billion.
Kenya shillings?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was launched and construction started in 2014. But because of competing tenderpreneur interests, it was later cancelled in end of 2015.
Explain that, please.
After a 4 billion deposit had been made.
4 billion shillings had been spent from this 55.
Yes.
Okay.
And later they pulled away and stopped construction of the Greenfield Terminal.
In which year was this?
The 2015. Construction stopped 2015. It was finally announced in 2016. And the reason that was given then was that we don't need this terminal. We can just make minor upgrades to the existing. And please know, the reason why we have Terminal 1, the new Terminal 1, was not because of proper planning and everything. It was because of the fire in 2013. So they reacted. We have always been reacting. We reacted, so we saw it has been burnt. So the management said they know, let us not, this is our chance. So to build something else. So they did Terminal 1 and then later 1A, 1B, 1C. That was later. 2014, 2016, another milestone when construction of Greenfield was officially cancelled, and Hui later went to court with KAA, and after a long protracted battle that lasted almost 8 years, there was a settlement, and KAA paid an additional 5.2 billion as a settlement. And these are not my opinions. It is in the audited accounts for KAA.
Okay.
So it's not me who's saying. Just read the audited accounts. Everything is there. So Kenya lost. We lost the 4 billion that had been the deposit, and then later we had to compensate them with another 5.2 billion. So in the net, we lost about 9.3.
After the deposit of the 4 billion,
Yes.
did any construction take place?
Construction did start. There was a huge.
And what did it comprise of? Construction starting
Yes.
can mean you brought maram.
Yes, they brought all the equipment.
Kakata, yes, all that.
They brought all the equipment, and they had been doing the foundation.
They had started excavating.
They started excavating, and there was a huge hole
that exists today.
that used to come, and you see, they are digging really deep.
4 billion shillings hole.
Now, in legal terms, you have assigned a contract with a contractor. He assembles all the equipment and starts working. Okay,
So 4B is mobilization.
correct,
Yes.
as per the contract.
Okay.
Yes.
Let us take a break and then come back and look at how this progressed until where we are today.
Correct.
Whereby you needed an external body to come in and do some,
We are almost there.
some magic. We're almost there, and we're getting there. Engineer Gitae Mwaniki is a senior consultant of the Aviation Information Consultants, and we're looking at, all right, after Adani out, what does that mean, and what are the needs actually for JKIA? We're going to come back and look at what got us to the point where we are right now with the conversations that are being had. Let's land things and look at what the KCB Foundation is doing for young people in the country.
Yes, and when we talk about young people, we're talking about over 1 million young people who enter the labor market each and every single year. And KCB realizes that they are out looking for jobs, but they also realize that they don't have the skills that they require in order to be market ready. Therefore, KCB says that we will engage you into several areas. We start with construction, manufacturing, beauty, and personal care. I know that touches straight to your heart, yeah?
Even for city.
Even city, yeah, even me as well, yeah. And as well as domestic care, automotive, creative economy, ICT, sustainable agriculture, and climate change. And KCB Foundation now forms the Tujiajiri program, and through that they say that they will empower and equip the unemployed young people by ensuring that the informal sector start their own businesses, and not only just start, but that they grow. Therefore, since the inception, KCB Tujiajiri program has actually done a lot, and with that it has created 150,555 jobs, trained around 35,195 youth, incubated 10,954 young people, disbursed 267 million shillings loans to support their enterprise, and has issued 2,225 startup toolkits of trade, and trained 6,535 businesses on financial planning. So there is a problem, we fix it, give you the skill, give you a toolkit so that you can go start your business. And all this information is available for anybody who wants to apply through kcbgroup.com/foundation.
There you go. All right, coming in to about 22 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to continue this conversation when we come back from this break, and we continue on what it means for JKIA going into the future. A quick look at weather and traffic. I'll be back right after this.